Sat Naams, yogis and yoginis. Let us talk today about Granthis. Yeah, the three knots: Granthis, bandhas, and caves. So in another video, we were talking about the origin of the word guru and how it's related to caves. Yeah, and there are three caves in the body. I suggest that you watch that video if you haven't watched it yet, because this one is going to be very connected to that. In terms of, we're going to see how the Kundalini has to cross through these caves, and it's there is some knots on the way. Yeah, these are the granthis. Granthi means knot. So you may have heard this term granthi or not, and there is three of them: Brahma, Vishnu, and sometimes it's called Shiva, sometimes it's called Rudra. It's basically the same. And Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva is like the three names of God, right? And God has these three aspects: God, G-O-D, generating, organizing, and delivering or destroying. Yeah, that would be the Shiva. Yeah, generating is Brahma, Vishnu is organizing, and Shiva would be the destroyer. So there is like these three forces in us, let's say, and they are related to our body, and emotionally and psychologically to our different states of mind and to our spirit. Because, you know, body, mind, spirit, body, emotions, mind, spirit, this is all connected, and it's connected through the physical body, through our emotions, and through our spirit. There is a link between all of these. They are like tied together. Yeah. And in some points, as it ties together, it forms a little knot. And these are the three knots that we're going to talk about. Now, the knots are kind of psychological or psychical barriers for our awakening, challenges that we need to overcome, and they hold some particular qualities and properties, and they are linked to the body, but they are also linked to the emotions, mind, and spirit, as I was mentioning. But we can localize them in the body in some particular way, because as with everything in yoga, we are linking all these body, mind, spirit together and working through the body. We're working through the mind. We are relating to the spirit. So sometimes we are doing physical postures with the right breathing and pranayam and mantra. We may have like a spiritual experience through the physical body. So we find these granthis, these knots in the body, and we can see how they are connected to the different aspects. So let us start by right away drawing a little yogi and finding where these knots are in the body. So as usual, let us find this little yogi. Sitting cross-legged. Yeah. And okay, so let us start with the first one. The first is called Brahma. Second one is called Vishnu. And the third one is Shiva. Or Rudra, yeah? And from the other video that I mentioned before, and I suggest you watch it first, then we saw that there was three caves. And we find this one here. This is like a little Shiva lingam in the middle of the cave. We find another one here with the mouth open. Ah. And then the cave of the heart. All right. So this is our basis. What is Brahma? Brahma Granthi. Oh, let me write Granthis here just in case, so you can see how it's written. The three Granthis, yeah? These three almost looks like an Om, yeah? Like a, yeah? Okay. The three Granthis. So, Brahma Granthi. Remember, generating, organizing, and destroyer. We can write it here, maybe in another color. The G, the O, and the D. So Brahma is linked to the first cave in a way that this it's not that this knot is in the cave in some way. It's about where do we locate it. Sometimes you may read it in some scriptures that they talk about the first chakra or the transition from the first to the second. I see it very much as like there is a lock and you need a key to open that lock, to open the gate to the cave and enter and cross through. Yeah. So the entrance to the cave is in the first chakra. The cave itself is the second, extending up to the third. Yeah. So that's what I was in the other video talking about, how the cave is like the womb, the female womb, yeah, which can give birth to a baby. So this is like a spiritual baby we're talking about now. It's Kundalini. So the word Kundalini, kundal means like a coil of hair, like a little bit of, in Spanish, un mechón de pelo, yeah, a little bit of hair coiled like that. The coil of the beloved, it is said. No, imagine that you have a person that you love very much, and you have to go away, or they have to go away. But let's say I have to go away, yeah? And I'm going to be separated from this beloved for a very long time. And as we embrace before we depart, I ask a boon, a little gift. Can you please give me just a little coil of your hair to remember you by, so that, when I am alone, I can remember you. So, she cuts a little bit of hair, yeah? And then I keep it in a little box, a very sacred box, yeah? So this coil of hair, this little coil, this is the Kundalini. Kundalini is like this coil of the beloved, because it's sort of like we are separated from the divine. Actually, we are not, but we feel separated from the divine. And in order to remember the potential that we can all reach there, then we have this little coil energy, snake energy in ourselves. And we have, just because we are born in this physical body, we have the right to awaken it. We have the capacity to do that, and we have the right to do it. It's our own power. It's our own light that is asleep in some way, light of consciousness. Yeah. So Shakti is power, and Kundalini would be associated with consciousness, and consciousness means light as well. So there is this little coil of energy asleep. It's not fully asleep. A little bit of it is flowing. If we didn't have a little bit of energy flowing, we would be dead. So there is some Kundalini already flowing through the spine. What we want to awaken it and allow it to go through the central channel, Sushumna, to reach the top of the head, the crown. And this is when Shiva meets Shakti. Yeah? Shiva, the universal consciousness out there, and Shakti, the inner spiritual consciousness, they would merge and meet here in this crown point. And that's what we would call illumination, yeah, being illumined. And so this Kundalini needs to be awakened, and it's in the root. Now, we are not going to force it. There is some ways to force the Kundalini to wake up, but this is a very powerful energy. And if we are not ready physically, emotionally, our endocrine system is not balanced, if our nervous system is not strong, this can lead to some like a big troubles, yeah? A lot of trouble. So, for example, in Kundalini Yoga, the tradition where I teach mostly, we don't believe in forcing the Kundalini to wake up, because that could bring all sorts of imbalances. However, we strengthen the nervous system. Because the nervous system is like the filament of a bulb, a light bulb. We have a light bulb, and there is the filament which shines, light. And if you put this light bulb, which is, let's say, 10 watts, and it has a certain capacity to go through, a certain power can go through it, and you put it to these high voltage lines that pass through the, you can see in the mountains some lines, some cables passing through very currents, but with a very high power. Imagine putting your light bulb there. It would explode, So we don't do that. We strengthen first the filaments. That means our nervous system. We make sure that the endocrine system is balanced. And then the Kundalini wants to wake up. This is part of our nature. It wants to wake up, but we are just not ready. So as we are strengthening, balancing ourselves, cleaning our mind and our subconscious and all the things that are on the steps to raise the consciousness, the Kundalini slowly begins to raise. Now, as it wants to raise up, then it finds particularly these 3 points where it's going to get stuck. And these are the 3 knots. So all this is like an introduction to this Kundalini waking up in the first chakra, from the first raising up, second chakra and above. So the first obstacle, this first granthi, that's Brahma granthi, and that's transitioning from the awakening of the Kundalini to raise up. So let's just do a little, imagine this little Kundalini here that wants to raise up. And so which are in this Brahma granthi, which are the qualities that we find? We find this link to the first cave, and we find our animal side. Is the most animal part of us. It is said that the animals have mostly connected to us in the sense of like the chakras. If we look at the chakras, the first 3 chakras of us are very much related to the chakras of the animals. You take a cat, you take all the chakras of the cat, that's equivalent more or less to our first 3 chakras. It's not that an animal cannot raise its consciousness beyond each animal form. It can, and probably that would lead to a human incarnation, but it mostly within those realms. An animal is primal, is following its instincts, So we are humans, we are evolved animals, and the part of us that is inheritance from our animal side, that's the first 3 chakras. We have the lower triangle. This is something that I'm going to draw here. Let me draw it with another color. We have a lower triangle pointing downwards, We have a higher triangle. This is chakras 1 to 3. 1 to 3. So let me put this here. The higher triangle, 5, 6, 7. Like a pyramid going upwards. And then we have the heart. So we have these 3 aspects in us. The lower triangle pointing down there, the upper triangle, here, and then we have the heart. And we are humans, we live in the heart. We don't need to escape into the higher triangle, but we don't want to avoid also the lower triangle. This is the challenges. We tend to live particularly in Western society, we sit down on tables and like very much this video, and we show this part of ourselves, or maybe a little bit more, But we are hiding everything that is below the navel, The table comes out to here, and everything that is below is hidden. We don't want to look at that. That's dirty, that's nasty, that's ugly, that's there's something, that's the shadow, That's our shadow. And we don't want to avoid that, but actually there is Kundalini is there. That's our power. And we know that the three biggest traps are sex, power, and money. These are the traps with our world outside. We would say there is another trap inside, which is diet, not often talked about, but it's another trap. And these ones do not allow our consciousness to raise below the frequency of the first three chakras, because sex, power, and money is very much linked to the first three chakras, yeah? And diet, that would be the food, yeah, that's the third chakra, right? So, well, also linked to the second, because the second one is linked to the void and emptiness. So we want to fill up ourselves eating, yeah? But anyway, these are our animalistic instincts, which we don't need to avoid, because actually when we try to repress, we become worse than animals. A human, a man that is a pig, is worse than a pig. Yeah, is disgusting. Yeah, who behaves like a pig, eats like a pig. We say it like that, but actually that's insulting to a pig to say that a human is like a pig. Or you can find other examples of people behaving like rats, or like many animals that we find. We utilize the word of the animal to describe somebody who has an unethical attitude or a very karmic attitude. And that's when they are going to the lower chakras in a very karmic manifestation. Now, we need to cross through and raise the consciousness, and we need to have a healthy attitude, healthy relationship to these chakras, and connecting to the instincts that is integrated in those chakras, and receive the blessings that these instincts have for us. Very interesting. Another topic though. Okay, so Brahma, that's the animal side. And this is transitioning from the first chakra to the second and starting to cross through and open up. So we need to have a relationship to this animal side of us, which is something that we inherited, yeah? So it's linked to our unconscious. We are not conscious about that. And when we behave like animals, we are not conscious at all. We're just like crazy, yeah? Okay. So animal and unconscious, this is also, if we are talking about body, mind, spirit, yeah? This would be more related to the body, and then we're going into the emotions and the mind, and we're going to go into the spirit. This is the body part. So the things that are related to the body, the challenges that we feel within the body. And the body is the most material aspect, so this is material. Yeah, the emotions and the mind is more subtle. So the body is the most material part. And this is what we call the material attachment. So there are three attachments related to the three nodes. Every node has a particular attachment. And in this first node, Brahma Granthi, it's about attachment to the material things, to the material body, to the material things that should be nourishing the body, but we don't eat to live, we live to eat, yeah? And things like that. So we get attached to the senses that are with the body, and everything is very basic, animalistic, primal, but in a karmic way. So material attachment is also to things and objects, and the things that, because I have an emptiness inside, because where is my spirit, right? I feel separated from the divine. I only have this little coil of hair and I don't even know what to do with it. So I feel empty inside, and then I want to fill it with material things, food, with objects, yeah, my car, my house, this handbag or these shoes or whatever. And then I'm feeling insecure still, so I need to fill it with chocolate and other kinds of food that are going to distract me from my experience. I'm going to numb me, yeah? Okay, the numbing is happening in the heart, but we are right below it. We are still in the animal part. All right. So if we cross through the material attachment and we start to refine these instincts, to find the wisdom in them, there is a certain wisdom in the instincts, yeah? As we are refining this aspect, the Kundalini, the coil, starts to waken up and uncoil. And as it uncoils, starts to raise. So Brahma, from the first chakra onwards, from first and second, crossing it, and then we start to raise upwards. And we want to go into the heart. Now, in this area between the third chakra and the fourth chakra, this is what we called the longest journey. The longest journey. There is this story in India. There is the disciple who approaches his guru and says, Guru, how long do I have to go to get liberated? Is it very far? How far am I from liberation? And the guru says, oh, from liberation, this far. He says, oh, just that? That's distance? That close am I? And the guru says, that's the longest journey, because that's the distance from the navel to the heart. Yes. So we live in our navels. We look at our bellies, yeah? And we are focused on what we do and what we can do. That's the navel. Navel is fire energy. Navel is action. So we are focused about what we can do with our own actions. And that's very much ego. Yeah, the ego is like the one who feels attached to what we do. In one of these Indian terms is ahankar. Aham, I am, kar, action. So I am the one who creates. I am the one who does the action. And as long as we are attaching to these actions, we being the doer, I am the doer, ahamkar, then we get attached to the results of these actions. That's karma, right? Whatever action you do, karma, and then there's going to be a reaction to you. So as long as we are operating from this lower chakra, the lower triangle and the third chakra, we are operating in the sense of what am I doing? What can I do? What is my role? What is my, me. And to cross from here to thou, to you, to us, to the heart, that's the longest journey. And there is a knot here. And this knot, if you remember, we were talking about how the first knot is linked to the first cave. It's like you need to open the key. You need a key to open the gate to the first cave and cross through. Well, we have another gate here in the entrance of the heart, and the gate is in between the 3 and the 4th chakra. We could say that's the chakra 3.5, chakra 3.5. Because actually, there is not just 7 chakras in the body. There's so very many chakras. I think the liver has like 3 chakras, and the right lung has 3 chakras. The left lung has 2 chakras. There's many chakras, right? There's chakras in the hands. There's chakras everywhere. There is one chakra that is in the solar plexus, in the point between the navel and the heart. I would say that, and this, when you are reading some teachings online, you will find that sometimes they position the 3rd chakra in the navel and sometimes they put it in the solar plexus. I make a distinction, I make a differentiation between one and the other. And I would say heart, navel is down here, heart is up here, and here there is this emptiness here, right below the sternum. That's where the diaphragm is attached, in the sternum. I would say that's the 3.5. Okay, I would call it 3.5 chakra. So that chakra is really tough to cross. First, because it's the transition from me to thou, or us, but also because so very many traumas get stored there. There is the area of the body associated to emotionality and emotions is below the diaphragm. The diaphragm and below. Sometimes we feel like butterflies in the stomach. Yeah, that's even lower. And that will be linked to the enteric nervous system, but that's another subject. But emotions, yeah, from the belly, yeah, raising up. And you can feel it in your breathing. Yeah, this is I remember reading somewhere how a good psychiatrist to check whether the patient is stable or is imbalanced, they would check how they are breathing, and they would notice this kind of breathing, which is intermittent and like jagged going up, not like soft and fluid. When there is this jagged motion, then there is some emotional imbalance, and something is happening, something is troubling the person emotionally. Now, whatever trauma we've gone through in life, and we all have our own traumas, they start right there in this diaphragm, right? The diaphragm has like a cellular memory of that. Maybe, when you lost a family member very close to you, and that has a memory that gets stuck in there, and you may not know it. And you may feel fine. I already grieved. Yeah, I already passed the pain and I'm okay. And 10 years later, you may be having a massage maybe, and they are massaging your belly and the diaphragm, say, oh, there's a knot in here. No, I'm fine. And they are massaging this, and suddenly something releases, and then you start having all these tears coming out, and you may not even have a memory of it. And it's just tears flowing down. And that's coming from the cellular memory that was stored in the diaphragm. And this, you can release it also through yoga, of course, through breathing, pranayams, and some other practices. We can talk about this in a moment. But this is the knot, yeah? Vishnu, yeah, the organizing aspect. Brahma was the creating, Vishnu was the organizing aspect. Let me write it here, yeah? This is the organizing, yeah? Linked to that diaphragm. For a moment, I wasn't sure how to write it. And if this was the unconscious, and this is the animal part, this is what's going to make us human. And there is a certain pain in here, because crossing into the heart means facing the pain, and there is a pain in the heart. Heart is sensitive, heart is feeling, and of course we are feeling pain. We're feeling pain of our own separation, the feeling of separation, feeling the pain of all these past traumas that are stored in this diaphragm. And we're also feeling, as we become more sensitive, feeling the pain of everyone around us. We live in a society which is loaded with pain and trauma. And at least now, what's happening right now in the culture and in the world around us, that is all the traumas, all the tragic things that are happening, all this is feeling as pain. And as we become more sensitive, we feel this pain. So this is a human thing. Feeling pain is part of being human. It's natural. It's not about suffering. It's about pain, yeah? Suffering is something else. It's how you deal, how do you relate to that pain. We don't need to suffer even though we are experiencing pain. That's something else, yeah? So, and being human, it's awakening our consciousness. But right now, as we are crossing through, we are still not conscious. We are only semi-conscious. And the challenge in this longest journey to cross from the navel to the heart is the same challenge as becoming aware, becoming conscious, because we believe we are awake, but we are driving the car and we don't know where we are going through. We don't know the streets. We don't know the traffic lights. We don't see anything. We just get home. When we get home, somebody may ask us, oh, which route did you take? You're like, I'm not sure which route did I take. Which was the one? I don't know. I was in automatic mode. My brain was thinking something else. So I was not fully aware. I was awake enough to be able to drive, but I was in a dream, kind of. So this is a semi-conscious state. We call it sometimes hypnotic state. We will talk about the states of consciousness in some other video. But, okay, crossing through and getting into the heart is like awakening and like waking up. And that's linked to the pain as well. Imagine that you are in this semi-conscious state in the underground or in the bus, on the train, whatever, and somebody steps on your foot and suddenly, ouch! For a moment you feel the pain, yeah? You wake up. That moment you were awake, you were asleep, and suddenly you wake up. Imagine you could say, oh, thank you, right? They step on your toe, oh, thank you. I was dreaming, I was daydreaming. Now I'm awake, right? That's a different way. It was your karma to be stepped on your toe, How do you deal with that? You can create more karma by shouting at the other one or pushing them out or something, or you can have a dharmic approach to that and just thank you for waking me up, right? It was an accident after all. Nobody really went to step on my toe on purpose. That would be a different situation. I wouldn't go into thank you then. But okay, so this crossing into the heart, this is the semi-conscious, yeah? And the diaphragm has this storage of past traumas, yeah? So the difficulty in crossing this is what's happening with our emotions. Remember, how am I dealing with emotions that shows up in my breath because my diaphragm manifests it? So emotional. Or we could even say psycho-emotional, yeah? Because the mind is linked to my emotions, yeah? It's how my mind deals with that. So this will be psycho-emotional. Let me put it like that. Psycho-emotional. I'm not sure I'm writing it correctly, but okay. So it'll be psycho-emotional and attachment. Remember, this was my material attachments, and this would be like psycho-emotional attachments, yeah? As I said, to cross through from the 3 to the 4, you have to let go of the ego thinking, yes, I am the one doing this. I am doing it. Yeah, that's like a psychological attachment. And then all the emotions that come with that, and like feeling good about myself because I'm doing something. I'm helping someone. I'm like, oh, I'm proud of helping someone. Well, how about an attitude of service? That's different, isn't it? When you're in the heart, you are sharing, you are feeling us connected to the other one. We are together, we are one. So can I serve you in some way? That's a different attitude, isn't it? That's an attitude of service. And that is going to be a different way to relate to the other one. And that's beyond an emotional attachment. I'm not attached emotionally to the satisfaction of being the helper or the rescuer, which we know it's a mind game, right? So when you cross Vishnu and you're on the other side of the Vishnu Granthi, then you are more into this attitude of service rather than helping. There's a big difference between helping someone and serving the other one. Big difference. So this is linked to the second cave, the cave of the heart. And as we cross through this barrier, then we would get into the heart. There's something else I didn't put here. You can link these 3 aspects. You can link into many things. Another thing I'm going to write here is this is tamas. Tamasic attitude, yeah, the tendency to stay the way you are and getting slow and passive, yeah, being too passive, especially passive about my way of dealing with my own material attachments and my own animal side. And this is rajasic, rajas. It takes a certain fire to cross through, and fire of will and fire of like putting your commitment to something and the discipline to go through and burn out all these emotional attachments, yeah, whatever is here. It's like, imagine this diaphragm here. Yeah, this is like the diaphragm like this, and there is a fire here. I don't think yellow is going to show too much. Oh, a little bit, yeah. Yeah, there's a fire. And this is like this concave space of the diaphragm is very much like a ball. Yeah, the diaphragm is like a ball. As we inhale and the exhale is moving the shape of this ball. But the fire below is like the fire below a cooking pot. And this is alchemy we are doing, right? We need fire for the alchemy to happen. Something needs to happen in the heart that is within this ball, yeah? And it has to become gold, yeah? From lead to gold, let's say. And this alchemy is going to happen through the fire of the navel. So this is the alchemical moment of the heart becoming gold. But not yet, it's not complete yet, yeah? But this is part of the alchemy for that. Should we advance? Should we go up? So this is the third. The third knot is the one that is from the throat to the third eye. In this is the third eye, Ajna chakra. When we see a drawing with the different channels of energy, we may find how from the root there is these 3 channels going up, Ida and Pingala, yeah, and Sushumna is the middle one, yeah, and these channels merge in Shiva, in the Ajna chakra, yeah, and the Kundalini going up. From Ajna chakra upwards, there is only 1 channel, yeah, and this should be. So the Shiva or Rudra Granthi, sometimes Rudra Granthi is called, this is crossing through the 3rd cave. And remember, this cave is the one associated to what we say, our words, but also chanting mantras, yeah, or reciting scriptures. This is all helping to cross through from the heart to in the upper triangle, going upwards, yeah, and accessing, connecting to our more divine aspect of us, or angelic realm, let's say. If we were saying this is the animal related to the lower triangle and the human related to the heart, then as we are coming into the higher triangle, this is the angel, yeah. Animal, human, and angel, yeah. And if this was unconscious and this is semi-conscious, this is full consciousness. There is no doubt here. There is no hypnotism. There is no semi-conscious dream state. This is fully awakened and conscious and consciously conscious. So being aware that you are awareness, being aware that you are consciousness. I'm consciously conscious that I am consciousness. This is the final crossing through, going beyond the different dream states of consciousness. This is like entering the 4th realm of consciousness, what is called Turiya, which is like a whole another subject, yeah? But this state of higher consciousness, this is achieved through crossing of this Rudra Granthi. And Rudra Granthi, if the Brahma Granthi was related to the material, how attached am I to the material aspects, and this is related to my psycho-emotional attachments in Vishnu, then this is a spiritual attachments. Oops, double T? Yeah. Attachments. And I'll just put here, so I don't forget, this is Sattva, yeah? This is the more subtle or more pure of the 3 gunas. However, not everything about Sattva is good, yeah? Sometimes we tend to see tamasic as something evil and sattvic as something beautiful. No, the 3 gunas have their own karmic and dharmic aspects. In this sattvic aspect, the concept of spiritual attachments, this is about how attached am I to what is happening in my awareness as I am waking up from my animal aspect through my human aspect. And I am getting in contact with this divine aspect in me. And this is what if ahankar was the thing that was very much linked to the second one, yeah? Ahankar being like the ego, me being the one who is doing things. In the third one, in this third aspect, this, I would call this the spiritual ego. Yeah. Because you may have awakened some capacities that are not like in the most basic of our human capacity. Yeah, let's say for example, you can start to see auras, or you can start to feel the impression of what somebody is feeling just by being close to them, or maybe you have a clarity of their emotional state, or you just see there are some skaras and their Akashic records, or you start having glimpses into their life and past karmas and say, oh, they are doing this because their mother got that experience with their grandmother and that thing happened and this is affecting them. There is a lot of things coming down. As you are opening up these higher centers, things come down. Incredible information, incredible capacity, sometimes cities, powers. And that can be extremely distracting. That's a really big trap, for the seeker. As we are getting higher and higher, then we may fall in love with our own capacities and what we can do. Then, we are using the teachings to maybe show how above the others we are, or to hit, taking a spiritual book to hit the others in the head with it, pong pong, So this is not it. This is a trick, a trap, and that's Rudra Granthi, Remember, GOD, generating, organizing, a destroyer. And there's something that has to be destroyed through this process. Something we have to get rid of. And this is the final hurdle, the final knot that we need to untie. If you remember, there was this aspect of Ida and Pingala all the way up. When we get here, there is no duality anymore. We need to find this one point. This is Ekonkar, Ekonkar, there's only one. It's not about Ida and Pingala anymore. It has to be Sushumna awakened all the way up. So this is the final granthi that we find going up to the top. And this is the overall image, Now we can see the whole perspective, in one diagram. And so how do we work on this? I already mentioned a few things, that we can do with our material attachment and psycho-emotional attachment and spiritual attachment. There's a few more clues that I can give. One is if you read the Bhagavad Gita, there is a lot of emphasis on these three aspects within Raja Yoga, and there is Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Gyan Yoga, which is the three branches of yoga within the Raja Yoga, the yoga of kings. We want to be kings and queens. Yogis and yoginis, we are awakening our Kundalini to reach the crown. It's called crown for a reason. We put our crowns here. It's called the crown of a spirituality. And that's something that is bestowed. We don't put it on us, but we do all the effort, all the work and discipline to clear the chakras, to open up the nadis, the paths for the energy to flow. We find a balanced diet, and we have an understanding and integration of the yamas and the niyamas. Every step that we are doing, we are preparing for this awakening to happen, And as the awakening happens, as the Kundalini raises to the crown, then the Kundalini mixes, Shakti mixes with Shiva, and the crown is bestowed upon us. This is the enlightening, It's bestowed upon you, So we want to be kings and queens, that's Raja Yoga, and this has these three aspects. Karma would be dealing with the material aspect of the body. Karma, with the karma of the body through action. Karma means action, and it's also, in the traditional sense, Karma Yoga would be doing service, which we know it was something about the heart, but it's going to work out on the very first impurities, on the first chakras too, because we have to transcend the first chakras. So we are dealing with the material aspects. And Bhakti is about the qualities that are going to awaken in my heart as I am doing this practice and crossing through the second granthi. My heart becomes more loving, more into the sharing and devotion. All the emotion that we were feeling trapped in this, remember the emotional attachment? All the emotion and the commotion, the emotion becomes devotion. So the heart is shining with this bhakti. So we do karma yoga to work on this area, then bhakti to develop this devotion on the heart, and then as we come up, this is called Gyan. Karma yoga, bhakti yoga, Gyan. Gyan is wisdom. And in the other video, when we were talking about the caves, I mentioned how the Gyan guha. Yeah, this is the cave of the wisdom. As you are opening the knot, crossing the knot, and crossing this gate to this cave, as you are chanting and meditating and praying and chanting the scriptures, then wisdom may come. Yeah, Gyan may open and the wisdom may come. So this is the third aspect from the Bhagavad Gita, gives us these clues. On a physical level, working on the physical level, the most physical aspects that we have to deal with these caves and how to open the key to the gate for the cave, that is the bandhas. So opening the gate to the first cave, that's Mula Bandha. Mula means root, yeah? So, okay, let me write them here. Let me use another color. So the first key we would find, let's draw it like this. The first key would be Mula Bandha. These are bandhas, yeah? Bandha means lock, but you know, I like the roots of the words. In English, we say a band of brothers, like a band, like a group of people. So there is a reason why we share that same root, coming from the same root in Sanskrit, yeah? So rather than feeling like you are locking the muscles when you are doing Mula Bandha, when you are contracting the sphincter, perineum, sexual organs, navel point, when you are contracting these areas, rather than feeling that you are locking yourself, can you feel like a band? Like imagine all these muscles are grouping together, banding together like friends, and that may unlock the gate to cross and through the cave, yeah, and open the cave and then unlock what's happening, yeah. So Mula Bandha, that's the root. Mula means root, yeah. You are opening this cave, and as you are crossing up, there's another cave. There's another key here, and this is Udayana. With an H. Udayana Bandha. Udayana Bandha means to fly up. The meaning literally means to fly up. And as you are chanting, there is a practice, I think it's in flamenco, when you are chanting, you have to keep the rib cage flying up. So you inhale deep, and as you are chanting, then you are keep the rib cage opening up towards the sides so that the navel can come in deep inside. So try not to closing from the sides. Don't push from here like not like this, but keeping the thorax open and then push from below, from the navel point upwards. So from the navel comes the strength, and then you're like, and the diaphragm is opening up, and the navel is coming inwards. And even when you are chanting, it's almost like you are doing Uddiyana Bandha. We do Uddiyana Bandha in the emptiness of the exhalation as a practice, isolated practice. But this flying up of the wings of the ribs, which I believe is taught in flamenco chanting, that's already creating this kind of pressure to allow for the alchemy to happen. The fire of the navel is going to push upwards, and something is going to come up in the diaphragm. So the tension is going to be like massaging all these cells that had stored all this trauma to release it. That's why it feels so good to chant. If you chant with the right projection and the right technique, then you are making the most out of the experience of chanting. Not just enjoy the words of the mantra. Sure, that's the bhakti side of it. The Shakti side of it, there's always Bhakti and Shakti. The technological part is keeping this open and let the pressure come even from below. Mula Bandha is active, right? As we are going upwards into the Anabandha, let's not leave Mula Bandha relaxed, Mula Bandha is active, the navel is pressing, and then the diaphragm is coming up, is pressing upwards the lungs, and then we have this projection of sound. Yeah, we are not collapsing, we are not getting closed down. If you have difficulties to sustain the words when you're chanting Sat Nam, Sat, it's not a long Sat, you're like getting out of breath. Check this out and try this posture, this projection. So that's Uddiyana Bandha, yeah? And the practice of Uddiyana Bandha isolated by itself without chanting, that would also be working on this key to open up the gate to the heart, the cave of the heart, Hridaya Guhara. So that's the second key. And as we come up to the third key, that's the heart, the throat. And this is called Jalandhara. Jalandhara Bandha. Now, Jalandhar means, Jal is like throat, Jal means throat. Dharan is a stream, like a flowing stream of water, for example. And this is like, Jalandhara Bandha is like locking the stream to capture it. And this is linked to Amrit. And we will talk about Amrit in another video. I think we already mentioned it in another video, which was the Amrit Vela, but we haven't really talked in detail about what this Amrit is. I think we can do that in another video. Maybe I'll put it into the suggestions, yeah? Now, Jalandhara Bandha, this is the bandha that holds this Amrit that is flowing down, is coming down as you are opening the cave and opening to the crown chakra. Shakti merges with Shiva and Shiva comes down, and there is this Amrit coming down and is gonna drip down into us. So this is the bandha that is like locking to receive that juice. So this is how we are using the bandhas to capture the Amrit and to allow the Kundalini to raise up. As the Kundalini merges Shakti with Shiva, as I said, when it's fully merged and fully awakened, this is like the enlightenment stage. That's not the liberation. So there's still karmas to work out, there's still things to do. There is a challenge to just stay in that state already. Yeah, holding that merger, it's already challenging because we may have a moment of a little bit of light coming up, poof, a moment of Kundalini touching the crown, and then we come down. But to hold it is a challenge. After there is this merger of the two energies, it still has to come down into our heart and settle into the heart. When the mixture of Shiva and Shakti settles into the heart, and we are fully present with the Atman there, yeah? In another video, this other video with the caves, I was chanting this mantra, Atman Ishto Bhavatvam, yeah? When we realize that, that we are this being, this self, this Atman, this soul shining here, living in the cave of the heart where Brahma lives, yeah? Brahma shining, aham, I am. When we realize that and fully realize, that's the liberation part. That's when you are fully liberated. Moksha, yeah? So that's a very, very, very end of the journey. That's where we want to get to, yeah? This is the very end, the very objective of yoga. So let us just explore very, very 2 minutes to chant Ong. But in this way, with the Mula Bandha active, Jalandhara in the throat in this position that allows the flowing of the vibration going upwards and the collecting of the Amrit coming down. And let's remember the flying up with the ribs. Let's do this 3 times, 3 long Ongs. Let's explore that. Inhale deep. Om. Inhale. And exhale. Paying attention to these three knots, these three caves, vibrating the sound in every cave, making it resound, vibrate in every cave, and keeping the three bandhas makes it have a different experience. Hopefully you had an opportunity to chant with me and have this experience yourself. If you want, write a comment how it was for you. How did it feel? If you have any question and any suggestion for future videos, write it in the comment. I will pay a lot of attention to what you write. And thank you very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, important for the channel to grow. And thank you very much. And many blessings in crossing through these three knots. Sat Nam, thank you.